Hi, everybody. Well, it happened again. I'm flying home, and you know what that means. But something kind of funny happened on this one, because I ran into some friends of mine, and the reaction was priceless. So after our cruise on the MSC Seascape, we headed to the airport. I grabbed an Uber, and we got to the airport through security and everything. No real slowdown or anything. It was 2.5 hours before our flight. We're into the lounge. We were able to use, because I have status with Air Canada, we were able to use Turkish Airlines lounge, believe it or not, at the Miami airport, because we're part of Star Alliance. So, and I'm allowed a guest. So I brought Paul in. We were able to get in. There's some snacks and some drinks in there, and we were relaxing. And lo and behold, in come two friends of mine from Travel Only. We run into each other at our conferences and seminars at sea and everything, and they saw me and everything. Hey, you're flying back to Ottawa? I go, yeah. They said, are you going to Montreal or Toronto? I said, well, we're flying into Toronto. And they looked and they said, oh, I guess that means our flight's going to be delayed. And I said, well, I've been watching the app all morning, and I haven't gotten any notices yet that our flight's going to be delayed. And up on the board, it says, our flight's not delayed yet. So everything was going okay. So no problems there. And then our flight was delayed. That's right. We were on a Air Canada Rouge flight from Miami. And yes, it was delayed. So we kind of a weird situation, because I didn't book the tickets, right? We're wherever the company sent us and our seats. Now we're able to choose our seats, so we're sitting together, but I have status and Paul doesn't. So no matter what flight I'm on, I could be sitting in the back row of the plane, in the middle aisle, in the middle seat, right up against the bathroom. And I still get to board in zone 1. I get to still board. I get to board with all the first class and business class passengers because of my status of flying so many miles every year. So I would take Paul's bag with me, and my bag, but just backpacks, by the way. We're not taking it. We don't have a backpack and a suitcase like a lot of people do. We just have our backpacks to carry our computers and camera equipment with. And so I take his bag in, and I go and I sit down, I put my stuff in, and I'm waiting for them to board, and it's taking a while and everything. And I realize, yeah, this flight's nowhere near taking off on time at all. First of all, we were boarding about 25 minutes after the plane was supposed to start boarding, and it was taking longer and longer, and etc. Even once Paul came in and sat down, it seemed to take a long time, because we had no clearance to leave yet, because we had missed our window to leave. And it just kept on going on and on and on. And finally we did take off. Now, one thing I didn't realize a lot of the times, that because of my status, I'm allowed one alcoholic beverage no matter where I sit on the plane. Even if I'm not in business class, I get a free alcoholic beverage. And the crew came up to me and asked me about it. That's the first time any economy flight that I've taken has ever said that to me. So I was kind of shocked. I said, oh, all right. I don't want an alcoholic beverage. And well, okay. I'll take a rum and Diet Coke. So they served me a little bottle of rum with Diet Coke, and I just kind of kept the bottle of rum, and I brought it home to my fridge, my mini bar here, and I just drank the Diet Coke. So we're flying along, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm getting a little antsy because we have a very short connection, and my friends who I had met, they're flying to East Coast, and there's very few East Coast flights to begin with, and they are often very sketchy as far as missing. If you miss one, then it's backed up because there's so few flights going. And we knew we had some tight windows. Again, I didn't book the flights. I usually like to leave about 2.5 to 3 hours in connecting flights for just such an occasion. And we were going to pull in about 50 minutes late. And as we're landing, I'm going, well, we got to get through security. We're further back in the plane. We're not in business class. We're way back in the plane. And we have to get through all these passengers and then get through security and then find our dock and get on the plane at the gate. And I'm going, we're probably not going to make it on time. But then the crew did something that was, that I don't see very often, but I was glad to see them happen. They did say they were asking passengers, please allow the people with connecting flights to get off first. Please don't all stand up as soon as we pull up to the gate and grab the luggage and stand in the aisles. Please wait for connecting flight passengers. As it turned out, there were about 40 of us on this plane. And everybody stayed sitting. Nobody got up and got in the way of everybody. And the disembarkation made it so much smoother. So much smoother. And so, wow, I was going, oh, okay. Maybe now, depending on the lineup at customs, how fast we can get through, we just might make it. And so we get off the plane and we're booting it, and my friends are booting it. They're going in a different direction than we are. We're getting down and we're running up to border security, and we get into security, and you have to go up to those machines. And we're filling in those machines and that. And I noticed some people are taking a long time as I'm filling out my thing. Some people are taking a long time at the actual custom desk, the actual where the person's standing. And so I finally get mine done, and I get around and I get into the line, and the person that's standing there noticed that there's a bunch of people that seem to be taking a lot longer than they should at the desk, at the counters with the security officers, the customs officers. And so this person just looks at our paper from our machine, from about 5, 6 of us that were standing there, and he just takes the paper and says, go ahead. And so we got right through. Didn't have to go to the border security person, talk to him, say where we're from, how long we've been, do we have anything to declare or anything, because we declared nothing on our statement and everything, and it went green. Booked through. So Paul and I got through. We rushed down to find our gate, and they are boarding the plane as we arrive. And I jump into the line right away and get on, and we get our seats. So my first flight was delayed, and only because the cabin crew on the Air Canada Rouge asked people to stay seated, and they did. And the fast pass-through customs did I make my plane. It's the only reason. And so it actually worked out really, really well. So I have to give hats off to that crew on Air Canada Rouge for doing that. And thankfully, the passengers, I want to thank them as well, because if they didn't allow it, they just started standing up. What could the crew do? They wouldn't tell everyone to sit down again. They would just have to let it happen. And then, of course, we managed to run all the way to the line because security just happened to start saying, okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. It had to all line up perfectly in order for that to happen. So I was delayed, but I got home on time.